So in society, we tend to adopt specific roles, and this is very much how we identify ourselves. So I'm a psychotherapist, and I've identified me with that role. That's how I introduce myself to people, and it's also how I derive a huge amount of my self-esteem. For other people, they may adopt a role based on their own career choices. Maybe it's in IT, or maybe they're a teacher or a fireman or any other aspect of life. And that's how they define themselves, and that's how they view themselves and how they want to be viewed by other people. And it might not be career choices, it could be sport. I know people who are very successful kickboxers, even though they've got full-time jobs, they identify themselves as kickboxers and by the success that they've had in that sport. But at the moment I'm working with a lady, and she's just newly single. And she's just broken away from quite an unhealthy relationship, but she still heavily identifies herself with a maternal role. She has 3 adult kids, and they're well able to look after themselves, but she's still minding them. Her whole life seems to revolve around mothering them, and they're on the front of her mind all the time. And in her relationship with her ex-partner, she very much adopted a maternal role with him. She was minding him, and this is something I see quite a bit, whereas we often people end up in relationships and their partner isn't looking after their own needs, and that becomes a huge burden for the other partner, and the relationship will break on the back of that because it's too heavy. We're not meant to be carrying our partners around us. We're meant to be working together in an interdependent relationship, not codependent. So what I'm working with her now is trying to help her to re-identify herself, not as a mother but as a woman, and as a strong woman, and someone who has needs and needs to find a healthy relationship where those needs will be met with the right partner. And naturally, she's obviously going to be afraid that she makes the same mistake and ends up with the similar type of partner, someone who is codependent and who will lean on her more than she really should. And again, we're starting to explore those fears and really try and strip them away. But the biggest thing for her is really challenging the role that she's adopted and that she was in some ways forced upon her, because she had no choice, especially even with her daughters. If the father wasn't really making a big effort to be there for them, maybe she was mother and father at the same time. And again, this is not exclusively a female problem. I know a lot of men who, again, they purely identify with being a father, often if they're single fathers, and they really park the process of finding the right partner for them, and then they re-enter the dating scene. It's difficult for them to go back in and be a man and identify just as I'm a man, I'm a single man and I have needs, and also to rebuild their self-esteem as well. Because again, if you identify purely as a mother, as a father, and you step out of that, you lose your own sense of self-worth because you're not constantly performing. So it's trying to re-establish someone's true self, and that sounds like a bit of a cliche, and maybe it is, but that is what it is. It's trying to find out who someone really is and help them discover their own worth away from the role. And that way they're not always performing. They don't all have to conform to societal expectations or societal roles, and just be themselves and enjoy the present moment and enjoy their relationships without any pressure of expectation on themselves or on others. So that's it. So whatever your roles are in life, question them and ask yourself, is this role working for you now as an adult, and can you change that and find better ways to relate to yourself and take away pressure from yourself and just enjoy your relationships with other people without fulfilling any expectations or having to do things for other people. It's okay just to be there and to be yourself and to share your own opinions, and that's enough. You don't always have to be performing for other people. So that's it, guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.